There we go. Yeah. I want to thank you for all the ways that you support my friends on the Edge podcast. And if you haven't already, why don't you show your support and subscribe? What's the matter with you? Go to Edge Show. Oh, shit, it's Edge Dash. What's with the dash? Stupid. All right, I want to thank you for all the ways that you support my friends on the Edge podcast. Show your support and leave something on their website, edge-show.com. Stupid. Why is there a dash?
edge-show.com. This is The Edge.
The advantage it means.
They let guy just spit on me for no reason.
That's horrible.
Is there some comfort in uncertainty, do you think?
You're a degenerate.
Because Australian Shepherds need action.
Wow. Yeah.
This is The Edge.
That's a self-loathing term that I use.
Oh, got it.
Nothing says holidays like a visit from the Pitbull of comedy, Bobby Slayton. Bobby tears up everything and everyone, every social convention, every politically correct thing. Bobby has patience for none of it. Bobby's in the new Woody Allen movie, and he's also in the Amazon series with Woody Allen, and he talks about having dinner with Woody. I had no idea that Bobby has this rich relationship with Woody Allen, but we talk about it and how it all came to pass. Now, there's one very important thing I want to mention to you. Bobby is an artist, I think. He's a comedian. He's a very creative guy, and he is called the Pitbull of comedy for a reason. He just takes no prisoners. He says a lot of wild stuff, and some of it is not politically correct. But if you're offended by some bad language and some coarse verbiage that flies in the face of political correctness, then this is probably not the episode for you, although I encourage you to check out the first half hour or so, because we love Bobby, and you will too. Thanks for all the ways you support our show. Thank you for leaving comments, and there might be some wild ones after this show. We appreciate all the different ways you give us feedback, and we appreciate, of course, your support. Subscribing to the show, leaving us something on the website, and shopping through Amazon, if you're going to shop through Amazon, on the click-through on our website, edge-show.com.
This is The Edge.
I should have been like a marriage counselor or something, because... You know, these asshole marriage counselors, they're all assholes. I was married for 28 years. That was a long time. Long time. I was with my wife for 30 years before she passed away. 30 years. 30 years is a long time. With a wind chill factor, it was like 130. It's a long time. And I'm not making fun of the fact that my wife died. I went through a lot of shit, man, the last 2 months. I went to a grief counselor. And matter of fact, it was the same grief counselor that married us. It's amazing how things come full circle. You're laughing at my dead wife. I hope you're happy. But that's why I should have been a marriage counselor, because, you know, women, you know, you're looking for shit that's not there. The anniversary is important. You want why men don't share their feelings. It's the same shit that started with Oprah Winfrey and Cosmo Magazine and Men Are From Mars and all this bullshit, and then Greg Barrett with his stupid show, Men and Women, you don't understand. And all you fucking broads are just looking for something. How come my husband never talks to me? He has nothing to say to you. Nothing. I was a great fucking husband for 30 years. 30 years. Every morning, I'm up at 6 in the morning. I don't sleep. And I wake up, and when my wife would get up, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, I would bring her coffee and say good morning and say I love you. And I would like to think I did my job. And it was never enough. You never talked to me in the morning. I just brought you coffee, and I said I love you. I'm out of shit. I have nothing else to say. Remember when I said goodnight? Now I'm up. Nothing has happened. For 30 fucking years. You're caught up with everything.
It's a holiday tradition, and it continues this year. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pitbull of comedy, Bobby Slayton.
Yes.
Come on.
Hey, speaking of the holidays, I did Thanksgiving this year at my girlfriend's house, and it's the last time I'm ever going to do that again. You know, from now, Christmas, I usually go out to eat dinner. I never knew the Jews did this. It's a big thing. Growing up in New York, you think I would know this. It's a big Jewish tradition.
To go out.
Josh's got to be Jewish. Damn, Josh has to be Jewish.
Yeah.
Now, do your family on Christmas go out for Chinese food? I never knew about that.
What?
We didn't, but I knew about.
I never knew
I knew
about
that
it.
they did. Yeah.
I heard about it like in the last 10 years, and every Christmas, because, my wife always liked Christmas, my daughter, when I was a kid, we had an electric menorah, but we got our presents on Christmas Day. We celebrated Christmas, but I went to Hebrew school, but my mother would never let us have a Christmas tree because it represented Jesus. She's making it seem like it was Hitler or Trump. Right. Jesus, whether you believe in him or not, he's a good guy. There's nothing wrong. So we could have the Christmas presents. There's a convoluted way. I don't know if we were reform or
It was
I don't know what
that,
kind
it
of
was that
Jews we were.
assimilate, don't assimilate thing that was going on in the mid-century.
So, but last year I went out for Christmas. I said, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go to any parties. I don't want to see people. I hate this whole idea. You buy me something, I buy you something. So I just took my family and a couple of, of these stray dog friends of mine out to dinner for Chinese food in Beverly Hills, and it was great.
That's kind of nice, actually.
So I was going to say, Thanksgiving just sucked. I mean, I went over to my girlfriend's house, and I actually not only went to Costco to try to help her out. I went to Costco. I went to Whole Foods 3 times. Trader Joe's 3 times, Ralph 3 times, Gelson's twice, kept forgetting stuff. Then my daughter wanted this and this. And then everybody eats for 20 minutes. They have to clean up for 2 days, and everybody has a shitty time. But anyway, happy holidays.
I always liked Thanksgiving, but now after hearing Bobby's run, I'm not looking forward to the
How do you
next
like
one.
Thanksgiving?
Yours sounds pretty
House.
typical.
I'm not going to even get started with this.
You gotta
the
make-
tofu and the tofu turkey legs.
Yeah, sometimes you have to handle a lot of different demands, and it's not even food; it's emotional demands that are being balanced in the room on Thanksgiving, right? Because all these families are sort of in a forced rugby scrum of stuff, and it just gets a little rough.
But you know what, though? It's nice when you don't have to go anywhere. Like people like you, it's nice when you don't have a lot of friends or family. You have to go anywhere.
It's nice that you picked up on that.
I mean, I'll tell you something. We can get into this if you want, but the fact that my wife, she passed away this year, and
I
if
do
there
want
was
to
a
get into
silver
that.
lining to that cloud was I never have to see her family or talk to her friends ever again. So that's like the greatest thing ever.
And sorry for your loss.
No, I'm just saying that was a thin silver lining to a horrible situation.
Sure. This is without question the big news of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will save what I was.
Don't know about everybody else. It's holiday season.
No, but I mean, Teddy, your lovely wife, she's been at my
She never
home.
liked you, really.
Oh,
She
well.
did too.
She was dragged to my home apparently a couple of times. She passed away this year, and you've been, I know it was a tough period, but you've now, I take it, bounced back a bit?
Well, it's been 8 months, and I mean, January would have been 29 years we were married, so we were together for 30 years. It's enough already,
Stop it. Well, that's what I felt like you were burying the lead there with, you're like, my girlfriend's house. And I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, I got a girlfriend now, but what's really interesting about that, get a little ahead of myself,
He's the Pitbull
met
of mourning.
my girlfriend at her husband's funeral last year.
Oh, my God.
This is like a romantic
No.
comedy.
Holy
It is.
shit.
You
I
couldn't
know.
script something.
It's
You
the widow
couldn't
and the
script
widower.
anything.
You met your current girlfriend at her husband's funeral
Yeah.
last year.
She said we had met before, but if we did, it was in passing.
So you knew the husband, obviously.
Yeah, he was a very good friend of mine, but I never really knew her because I'd always see him out, in certain things. And she was never there. And then I met her at the service, and I remember thinking, this is really pretty. I never thought he'd have a wife this good looking since he wasn't that good looking of a guy. I just said to my, and then I realized she lives literally like less than a mile from me. So in LA, that's like next door neighbor.
Yeah.
And I said to her, after my wife died, I called her up. I said, we should get together for a drink. No intention of dating her.
Right,
I didn't
sure.
even remember what she looked like. I just thought, that Vibrato Grill, which is right up the hill from my street, right up there in the Beverly Center, and she lives a half a mile from there. I might be a half a mile from there. We should meet for a drink. And then I just knew it was weird. It's kind of had the same feeling when I met my wife. I said, this is going to be my new girlfriend. I took her to Rayo's restaurant here in L.A., and she fell madly in love with me like every woman who meets me.
Bobby, has she moved in?
No, she's got a gorgeous house.
Have you moved in?
No.
Bobby's got
how
a
does your
gorgeous
dog-
house.
I've been dating for 3 months.
So?
When my wife died, as horrible as it was, there was something about that freedom. I could eat when I want. I could do what I want when I want to do it, unless, of course, I have to work and do a radio show or get on a plane. But when I'm home, I can watch what I watch and when I want. And there was something great about that freedom, as much as I missed
Was there
Teddy.
really?
Yeah, but then without having a wife in the house, it got scary because I didn't know when the air conditioning was on too high or the music was too loud. I didn't know when the TV was too loud. I had too much garlic, too much wine. I didn't know when I was driving too fast. My life was spinning out of control. Keith Richards called me up. He was worried about me. No, it was, but now I met her, so now it's like right after I do your radio show, I told her I'd pick up some food, go to her house. She's got a beautiful home, and I got a beautiful home. Mark's been there. Mine is not that open kind of 4th of July barbecue, swim, and hers is surrounded by redwoods, kind of the cozy, let's have a fire and do Thanksgiving. Never again. But so here's the best part. I got a dog, she's got a dog, so I can't stay over at her house. She can't stay at my house. So it's like, I don't want to make it so crash, but wham, bam, thank you. I got to go. I got to feed the dog. So that's a nice thing to have.
I think that is a good thing. And I've talked to a lot of people who are even in long-term relationships. I'm talking about north of 20 years. And some of them still have their residences. They have their own places. And they've told me, they've taken me aside and go, whatever you do,
really?
Hang on to your place. It just gives you a kind of, there's something psychologically that happens when. Yeah. Now, obviously, that's not a traditional way to do it. So,
we have talked about in the future, getting the hell out of here and going to Portugal and just giving everything up. And
really?
We make so much
you
money
talked about that in the first 3 months of your relationship?
Well, we're not planning. We just
They're just spitballing.
Wow.
They're just daydreaming. They're doing that cute couple 3-month thing.
Hey, baby.
It's pretty amazing.
Let's get this all up and head up to Portugal.
She hates people. She loves sitting home. She loves to eat. She loves to drink wine and hates parties and she
is your match.
Wow.
This is crazy.
She's perfect.
Sounds like my wife.
Perfect.
Really? Bobby, I'm so excited for you.
My daughter loves her, so they
I was just about
bonded.
to ask what the daughter's reaction was.
Yeah, no, they got along. They get along great. I mean, it's mind-boggling. But the thing is that they get along really great. And but what's weird is this was the worst year of my life, but it was also the best year of my life because a week after Teddy passed away, I went to work for Woody Allen in New York on his Amazon TV show. So the exhilaration of working for Woody Allen, I had a big scene with him, which took me forever to memorize. Oh, it's so horrible. I hate acting so much. It was so much work, but to be in New York for a week, I went in a week early. And, I just was walking around New York and it was so much fun. And then every time I walked by a store or heard a song, my wife would have loved the song, my wife would have loved that store. So it was kind of depressing. It was really depressing. And then I went to work for Woody. So it was just up and down. Then he hired me again for his new movie. And
wow.
So that was really cool.
I want to
talk
on
the podcast with you guys. How much better did
this is got
cherry on top.
The high water mark.
It doesn't get much better.
I want to ask you about that Woody Allen thing. I watched a few of the episodes. Haven't gotten through I didn't get to your part yet on the Amazon.
Well, it didn't get great reviews.
It didn't?
No. The Woody's Amazon show, I think, a lot of reviews.
It's a little slow.
It gets better. The last, I think, 6 episodes. Mine's the 3rd one. That's when it really gets great. And then it goes downhill for a minute after that. Gets back
Who's the star? Who are the stars of that? Is it one of those
Woody.
star
It's Woody and the
Miley
woman.
Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus, who I thought did a great
Miley
job of going to
Cyrus,
shred.
that's right.
And the great Elaine May from Nichols and May, who came out of retirement.
Yes, that was great.
At 87 or 83, she's in her 80s. And
that was the great part to see her again.
she was great. And he gave Louis Black a couple of nice little scenes, and Judy Gold and Joy Behar. But I got a scene with Woody, big scene. And I had 6 weeks to work on it. My wife was, in the hospital. We didn't think she was going to die. She got hit by a car. But
it was a weird thing. She got hit by a car in Mexico, and
she got hit by a car in Mexico by an expat American who had insurance. Unlike here, it would be a Mexican without insurance. And then she had a broken hip, and then the hospital pretty much killed her. We're suing the hospital.
Okay, good.
And we're going to win. It's really hard to win in California. There's one thing that's screwed up about this state is, if you go and you have the wrong breast, the wrong arm removed, you could $250,000 cap for the doctors and the hospital. You can't sue more than $250,000. So my lawyer said it's really hard to win these kind of cases, but he's 99.9% sure we're going to win it. I get so much proof, and I got.
What was the kind of crux of it? What was their?
Huh?
How were they at fault?
How were they at fault? When I put the pillow over her face, they didn't come to help her when she screamed. It was a muffled scream, but they should have heard it.
Do you see how I set him up for that perfectly?
No, she had a blood infection like Patty Duke, sepsis. A lot of people get that in the hospital.
Okay.
And I think she developed pneumonia. And oh my God, the doctor's records. We have, I told her she should get x-rays. Her cough sounds horrible. They never gave her the x-rays. And she had a roommate. My wife was screaming in pain. They never came in. They had to rush her to another emergency room and with cardiac arrest. I mean, everything. I got them on
Oh.
everything. I'm going to screw them, but
No, obviously that's not a consolation, but you do feel as though, just on Bobby's point, that the only way you can hold their feet to the fire is with money. Yeah. It's a shame, but it is. It is the only way.
Well, it's a shame because then you get Hulk Hogan with a sex tape winning $15 million.
Right.
And my wife dies from negligence and malpractice, and it's $250,000. Yeah. Everything's so screwed up in this country. Thank God President Trump's going to fix everything.
Yay!
Yeah.
He's going to make everything all better.
On day one.
Yeah.
Day one,
With the first month, it's all going to be better.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't do political
President Pumpkinhead. What?
You don't do political stuff in your act usually.
No, I don't.
I've never heard any political stuff in your act.
No, but I would go out of my way to badmouth that jackass as much as I possibly can.
I went and saw Bobby when he was a comic in residence or personality in residence. What do you call that? When you're playing the Vegas Room every night.
Yeah, but it's Hooters, so you know.
I was going to tell everybody.
I love Bobby so much.
By the way, I didn't think Hooters was such a bad place. I went over there to see you, and it wasn't such a bad place.
It wasn't such a bad place. Well, you know, considering I made 3 times what I was making in the comedy clubs, I never had to get on a plane.
The Hooters Hotel?
Huh?
The Hooters Hotel?
Hooters Hotel and casino.
Yeah.
And they paid for a beautiful condo next door, so I didn't have to stay there. I got a great deal. And
you were there for how long?
A couple years.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like Vegas, but once I got into I spent all the money I made. It was a lot of money. But, and I'm not making excuses, but when you live in L.A., and your daughter has a car and your wife has a car, you take your opening acts out for dinner every night. And I paid my openers what their headliners usually get paid in Vegas. Not the Louis Blacks and the Robin Williams type headliners, but in the comedy clubs, I was paying money. My openers with the other comedy clubs are paying headliners. All the clubs were mad at me. I go, well, that's what these guys deserve, And
that's
then
very cool.
Went out to dinner every night after my show. And, just slowly pissed it away. Never played golf. Never had hookers.
And you
never
don't gamble. You
never gamble.
And that's the amazing thing.
No. So I didn't really get pissed away and eating and drinking. And you know what? When you start bringing it up and massage once a week, personal trainer twice a week, start buying wine. I'll tell you what, I'll kill you more than the cocaine, the heroin, or the hookers, or the gambling. You start buying wine at Whole Foods. That was my downfall. Oh, my God. They put wine on sale. It would be down to retail.
You love wine, though. You do.
Yes, I do.
I'm guessing you've got some high-end wines that you've.
I would have thought that every time. I would have thought when I came in here, you would have wine for me, but
Oh.
So have you been back out on the road this year as well? It sounds like a little bit?
I went out on the road a little bit. Yeah, I was in Syracuse. Josh, you could say something in about 5 minutes. But I wanted to be something good, so make sure you think of something really, really good. That's going to be early.
I'm on simmer right now. I'm just on simmer.
It's going to be like Haley's Comet. Once it passes, you're not getting another chance. You know what? I was in Syracuse, New York, playing the Funny Bone, which is actually a nice club, about 3 months ago. No, actually, about a month ago. And then I get a call from Woody Allen again. Colin Quinn was supposed to do a part, and I guess he hurt his leg playing basketball or something in an Adam Sandler movie. He sprained his leg or broke his leg. Something happened. He couldn't do the part. So
that's a good excuse, though. Something
happened. So he called me and said, "You want to do it?" And I go, "Well, yeah, it's a Woody Allen movie. Why wouldn't I want to do it?"
Now, when Woody Allen calls you, that's your manager who calls you and says, "Hey."
Yeah. Well,
how does that call go down? Just curious. Does he call? And maybe it's just not a big deal, but I'm just curious always. I'm never going to get a call about a Woody Allen
My manager
movie.
called and said,
"You might.
Woody might watch it next week." Somebody dropped out. They didn't tell me what happened. They didn't know, and they said the casting director called and see if you were available next week. And my manager's voice is available. I said, "Of course I'm available," and that was pretty much it. That was all. And then I got it. It was just great.
And what's the Woody Allen bit about being offered? There's literally it's on one of his albums about being offered a liquor ad. Do you remember this?
No.
Woody Allen does this bit about getting a call from a liquor company to do an ad for this liquor. And he says, "Look, don't endorse liquor, and I'm not involved in promoting things that could be deleterious to your health. And honestly, they're a scourge on a whole portion of society. And certainly the Woody Allen face is not going to be the face of this liquor company." And they said, "Well, it's too bad because we just a one-day shoot and we pay $1 million." And he said, "Let me put Mr. Allen on the phone. He might be interested in that." Yeah.
He was a great guy to work for. He doesn't really give you any direction. People tell me that when he gives you direction, you should watch out, that he's everything I'd ever read about him, you think you're not doing things right because he goes, "Yeah, that's fine." Right. And you think you're going to get cut out. Is when he pulls you aside. And we got to talk, then you have a problem. But
did you have to audition, or did
no?
You just,
I never auditioned for the other part either. It's so funny. I went to New York, the Crisis in 6 Scenes, the Amazon show. I got a call. Woody Allen has 2 parts. They're not big parts, but he's interested. And his casting director said, "Are you going to be in New York in the next couple of weeks? Because Woody might want to see you." And I was on my way to Florida. And she goes, "Don't come to New York. We don't know if he wants to see you." And I figure, well, I can't go at the last minute. I like the day before, it's going to be $1 million. I figured, I'm going to Florida a few weeks. Let me change my ticket now. I'll go to New York. I have an apartment that somebody gives me anytime I'm there. And I'll go to New York for a week, and I'll hang out in New York, and then I'll go to Florida to do my gig. And worst case scenario, I don't read for him. So I get to New York, and I'm waiting around. I don't hear from Woody, and I call my friend Steve Sharippa, who, Bobby Bacala, who's on The Sopranos.
Sure.
And Sharippa used to run the Riviera Comedy Club, and, Sharippa's now working all the time, all over the place. I call him up for lunch, and he goes, I'd like to have lunch with you, but I can't. I'm reading for Woody. And he didn't wind up getting the part of the show, but then he got in Woody's new movie. Woody put him, you never know with Woody why he's booking somebody, why he's not. You don't know.
But as it turned out, you didn't have to audition.
No, I just sent him my acting reel.
Even in Shrippa's story, he had to read for Woody.
Read. You usually have to read for him, but, Woody knew me because we've had dinner together a bunch of times.
Well, wait a minute. Wait, I didn't know that. You've had dinner a bunch of times with Woody Allen?
No, yes, I have.
How did that
meat,
happen?
And we had meat. No vegan crap.
How did that happen?
Well, this is a very funny story, actually.
Well, it's about fucking time.
Oh.
Hi, Josh. You missed your opportunity. I have to wait another 10 minutes for the bus to come around again. Okay, now, so here's what happened. About 5 years ago, I'm playing Palm Beach, Florida, and there's a friend of mine. He's got a lot of dough, and he owns a giant building, couple of buildings in New York. He's got a giant estate in Florida. He owns an island in the Caribbean. He's got property, private jets. This guy's got dough.
Jeez, you got a lot of cool friends.
Yeah,
Slayton.
he's got dough. So anyway, he comes to see my show in Palm Beach at the Improv, and he says to me after the show, he goes, I know how this came up, but he goes, I'm having dinner with Woody Allen next week at my house. I go, I know you're friends with Woody. He goes, I fly Woody somewhere. I don't know, whatever. I don't know. They were just really good friends, and I don't know how they're friends. He says, Woody is a big fan of yours if you want to come to dinner. I said, I'm going to be back in L.A., but maybe I should fly to New York to have dinner with Woody Allen. This is pretty cool. And I called up a couple of comedians. They said, are you crazy? Why would you not fly to New York to have dinner with Woody Allen? And I asked my wife, she said, you got to go to New York to have dinner with Woody Allen. I mean, Josh, you would have.
I would for sure get on the plane.
In a second, just to go have dinner with Woody Allen. So I fly back, and dinner's at my friend's house. And he's got this big Citizen Kane-like table. Well, not quite that big. Maybe sees maybe 10, 15 people. But it's just Sunyi and Woody and me and my friend. And I knew I wasn't going to talk about Woody's movies, and I didn't know.
You're sitting at one end of the table, right?
We're all congregated. We're all together.
You're all clustered. No, it's not like Citizen Kane, right?
No, it wasn't like Citizen Kane. No, it wasn't like that at all. So, I'm a big blues fan, and Woody's a jazz fan, and I used to like the Knicks and the Yankees when I was younger. But the fact that in the 60s he was big in comedy, and even though he's a New Yorker, he played San Francisco a lot. The Purple Onion, The Hungry Eye. Sure. And we had a lot of mutual friends because I started it 5-10 years after that in the 70s. So we, Mort Saul and the Smothered Brothers and Robin, and so we had a lot. And he loved talking about comedy. So we had a 3-hour dinner, and then I told him, Woody had such a great time. He goes, we should do this again. And my friend Jeff, who put the dinner together, said, if you know the comedians, Woody loved having dinner, you should bring a couple more comics. I wish I had a picture of this, and I never did it. But about 6 months later, I'm back in New York. Now, for him to be there, for Jeff to be there, for Woody to be not working on a picture, for me to be there, and to get other comedians who aren't on the road to be there, it's kind of hard to put a dinner together. But I called up Louis Black, and he came over. And David Brenner, before he passed away, the late, great David Brenner came over. So I brought those two, and then Woody brought Dick Cavett. And then it was Sunyi, Woody, my friend Jeff, Dick Cavett, and me, and we, just everybody. And then David Blaine shows up halfway through dinner, and after dinner goes, anybody want to see magic tricks? So Blaine spent a half an hour showing us card tricks. Now, Woody and Cavett were ex-amateur magicians when they were younger. Like Johnny Carson, they were magicians when they started out. They dabbled in it. So
I didn't know that.
They were mesmerized. So to get me and Lewis and Brenner to shut up for a half an hour with these tricks. And he takes my watch off. It's really hard to get my watch off. I'm so skinny and it's so tight. Blaine did it, and he told me he was going to do it. I mean, it was just great. I wish I had a
That's
picture
unbelievable. This is a great night.
So then a year later, I tried to put together another dinner. Colin Quinn couldn't make it, and Chris Rock couldn't make it, and I tried all these comments. Nobody's in town. Gilbert Godfrey was out of town, so I managed to get Jackie the Joke Man Martling, who was hysterical at dinner. Jay Thomas, the radio personality actor. Jay was there. And me and Woody and Nick DiPaolo, who's a great comic.
He's very funny.
And my wife Teddy. This is an all-guy dinner except for Sunyi. There were never girls at this dinner. And I said, well, my wife's in town. I got to bring her to the dinner. So we go to Jeff's house. We have dinner. And my wife winds up getting the biggest laugh out of Woody that night. We were all, everybody's laughing.
What happened? How did she get a laugh?
Wait. He doesn't laugh a lot, Woody, but it was, it's sort of one of those things you have to be there. Woody says, how long have you been married? I said 28 years. And then I quoted one of my jokes of Woody, like 28 years, but with the windshield factor, with the windshield factor, it's like 100. And my wife goes, yeah, well, how do you think I feel? Woody, yeah, how do you think I feel? And he just cracked up at that.
Does Soon Yi chime in?
A little bit. She's very quiet. You know, it's hard to chime in with all these guys.
That's a tough crowd to chime in on, yeah. Yeah. Anybody would be.
It's hard to chime in with me. I mean, Josh has
Tell
tried.
me about it. Jesus Christ.
You lost another opportunity. Another 5 minutes.
Oh, damn it.
You're on timeout.
So wait, hang on.
I'm a host, not a guest.
But I want to go back then.
Host.
Does everybody feel as though they got to tell a story? Like Jay Thomas is a big story guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I made Jay. I felt like a little kid with the home movies. I made Jay tell the Lone Ranger story, which he tells every year at Christmas time, or he did, with, Jay Silverhills, with Clayton Moore, with the car, the story.
He tells it on the Letterman show every year. Yeah.
So he told it to Woody, and Woody was cracking up.
Woody had not heard it before?
No, he never watched the television. He never saw the Letterman show. And but there was more to the story that Jay never told about the Lone Ranger and a hooker or something. And I said, did you just embellish? He goes, no, that was part of the story I never told. But, Woody, he never did Letterman. And I said to him, they were trying to get Woody for the last show because they were having a big lineup of celebrities, and I said, Woody, you have to do it. It's the last show. And he goes, he wants all these celebrities to come on. This came up
at dinner?
This came up at dinner. We were talking about it. I said, and he goes, well, Letterman, they asked me to do the last show. And Woody, never does television. And they had a whole lineup of people. I think, who's who of showbiz people. But Woody Allen, a guy that's never on television. I said, Woody, you should go on last. And you should just come out and say the one. It's a top 10 list. I think it was.
Right.
And
they went
or something.
down,
What was it? You remember?
They went down the line. Yeah.
What did they do, Josh? Do you remember?
I just remember them going down this line of celebrities, and I don't even remember who.
You don't
was
remember
on the
one
line.
thing I come to you for. The one time
I
need a favor.
I made no claims to be of any value to the show.
No. It was a top 10 list of things you always want to say to Letterman or something.
Exactly, and it was huge celebrities.
So I said, I said to Woody, you got to go on last and walk out there and go, I've been trying to get on the show for years. Finally, you put me on. Or something like that. Yeah. And Woody thought it was so funny, and he never did it. I can't believe how great that was.
Because there was a Knicks game on, probably.
Damn.
Who was the last one to come out? Do we remember?
I'm going to get it for you right now.
Yeah.
Top 10 things I've always wanted to say to Dave. Number 10, Alec Baldwin.
Of all the talk shows, yours is most geographically convenient to my home.
Your extensive plastic surgery was a necessity.
Steve Martin.
And a mistake.
Dave, I have no idea what I'll do when you go off the air. Mm-hmm. I just thought of something. I'll be fine.
Who's that?
Seinfeld. Jim Carrey.
Honestly, Dave, I've always found you to be a bit of an overactor.
Rubs his hair and makes a face.
Who's next?
That was Jim Carrey.
No, but who's next?
I don't know. Chris Rock.
I'm just glad your show is being given to another white guy.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Thanks for letting me take part in another hugely disappointing series finale.
Cutaway of Seinfeld.
This is good.
Brings back memories of watching.
Thanks for finally proving
Tina
men
Fey.
can be funny.
And Woody's spot.
Bill Murray.
Oh, is that number one?
Dave, I'll never have the money I owe you.
Oh, no. We've done over 6,000 shows, and I was...
Okay.
Did you ever do Letterman or Leno?
No. I did Carson, the Tonight Show with Carson. Letterman was mad at me for something that I never did, which was, you've just... it's a long story. I don't really want to get into it.
I kind of want to know. I'm on board.
That's the worst thing, though.
Too many times I'm sick of talking about it.
But I'll tell you one thing. That's the worst thing. When when you didn't do something and you're getting blamed for it, it's just the
Yeah.
shittiest feeling ever.
Yeah.
I know. I'm a Jew, and we didn't kill Jesus. I'm telling you.
Yeah, right. Well, that was
I speak for yourself. Can't speak for all Jews.
I really
What,
did have
spokesman?
I had a question for you. Can I interject it here?
Of course, yeah.
So I went to the Improv over the weekend, the San Jose Improv.
Yeah.
And there was a really funny comedian. The headliner was named Amir K.
Never heard of him.
Shoot, really? Have you heard of Amir
I've
K?
heard of him, but don't know much.
He's an Iranian guy. He does a lot of Iranian stuff and Muslim stuff in his thing. But anyway, he got caught up in a heckling situation that he didn't recover. It was like halfway through. I was so uncomfortable. The whole room, it was like a therapy session.
Yeah.
Like he even made a joke about it becoming a TED Talk. Like he started talking about how insecure comics are and, I shouldn't have done that. And he would try to go into a joke, then he just never got away from it. Never could get away.
Because the person wouldn't shut up, or because he couldn't get it out of his head?
He just couldn't get it out of his head,
Wow.
yeah.
Slayton, that would never happen to.
Not since, I'm guessing, like 70-something.
Yeah.
Have you had something that happen in your life?
Is it that? Have you ever gotten that riled up? I was shocked.
I've got riled up where I've, gone after somebody really bad. And, I probably should have stopped and I lost half the audience, but I kept going.
I remember you even told that story on this show, I feel like, of doing something. I thought that was...
Journey, when Journey was heckling me in a big music awards show in San Francisco, and I just went after them, and I lost the whole audience. They had to pull me at halftime off the stage, but that wasn't my idea. That was a promoter's thing before I got killed or before but I've lost crowds before. But more, not the crowd so much as maybe a table. I've talked to somebody and we ever married, and it turns out, the guy's wife died, or, I kept needling some guy when this was like a couple years ago. How come you don't drink? And he broke down in tears because I killed somebody in a head-on collision. I'm an alcoholic, and he wasn't kidding around. He screamed it out. And I go, okay. And it took me a minute or two, but I've been doing this for a long time, and I just moved on. So. I've had times where stuff has got me, but I don't think I've screwed up the whole show from that. I'm sure I have.
The other difference is that Amir K at the Improv in San Jose, people are just going to the Improv in San Jose, and Amir K happens to be there. If someone's going to a Bobby Slayton show,
that's how the whole thing started.
If someone's going to a Bobby Slayton show at this point, they know what they're going
Not
for.
Not always. People just go out to a comedy club. They don't always know that. People don't know, people watch you. You'd be surprised how many people watch you on YouTube. I'll go, that was really funny. Yeah, it's something you see from... Arsenio Hall from the 80s. Oh, that was a funny bit from the Live at the Improv. That's what we're going to go see. Or somebody, I'd seen you before, or somebody saw you in some other show, or somebody just, got free tickets for the club, or somebody, let's go to a comedy club, or tourists in town. So they don't always know.
No.
Well, and the show started late, which was annoying, but it started late because he had to do a sound check because he was recording a CD.
Oh, that's bad.
So I think that it was even worse because then I think he knew that the CD was blown.
Right.
Well, at least they usually tape a couple of nights in a row, but still, you're right. That night's gone. Now it's pressure on the next night.
Exactly.
I remember seeing Larry David at the Comedy Store, and at that time, the Comedy Store had a sort of satellite second expanded room, which was in Westwood.
I played that room.
Right next to that Italian restaurant, Laberschetta.
And so I went there with a couple of friends of mine, don't really even remember who they were, not important to the story, of course. Some little girl comes out, little blonde girl, very cute, and she's the MC. She warms up the audience, and a comic comes out, and then she introduces this guy, and it's Larry David. And he had this afro-y kind of thing going. And so he does some stuff, and after about 10 minutes, he hears something from the front table, sort of the way Slayton's story made me think of it, like where you hear something from one table, and he goes, what did you say? What did you say about me being a Jew? And he squares off with this one table. It was a table of women. There were maybe 6 of them. And he just opens a blowtorch of hate on them. And it was not funny. It was, it wasn't scary. It was just like, wow.
Yeah.
And C-word, C-word, C-word.
Oh, boy.
And then he...
Christian.
And then he slams the mic down and he walks off the stage. And this little girl comes back out, the little cute MC. And she goes, okay, well, that was something. And then she gets the crowd, she's got to get the crowd pointed back to Magnetic North, right? And then... the next comic came out, And he starts, and everything was really cool. And after about 15 minutes, crowd's, laughing, and he's about done. And he turns to the women who David had opened the blowtorch on and said, hey, that guy is a friend of mine, and you all, for calling him a fucking Jew, you all are a bunch of fucking cunts. And he threw the mic back down and he walked off. I'm thinking, wow.
God, he stole my act, that guy.
And
that was my bit.
This little blonde girl comes back out on stage and she tries to get the crowd back. And I remember it was really, really hard. I thought, boy, this has to be one of the longest nights of her life. But when you talk about losing the crowd, or in this case, he just deliberately, he just threw the whole crowd away.
Larry used to go on stage. I was living in San Francisco at the time, but it's comic legend lore that, he would just go on to Catch a Rising Star, and he'd walk on stage, look at the crowd, and if it didn't feel like doing it, he would just walk back off again and wouldn't even go into it.
Yeah, but that was always the lore of Larry David, was aborted sets for some reason. Yeah,
I see. Yeah.
Well, but I've seen when I worked with Bill Hicks years and years ago, there was one night where he just decided, fuck these people, and it's like, I've eaten it for 45 minutes, now you're going to eat it for 45 minutes. And he purposely walked, kept doing stuff until he virtually had walked the whole room. But that was his point,
That's pretty cool. You could do that.
I would have left if I hadn't been with a couple that didn't get up and walk away. I was ready to go.
Why were you in San Jose is my big question.
Because that's where my dude lives.
Oh, God.
Now, you'll remember Heather was going out with the guy, waiting for him to get out of prison, federal penitentiary.
Oh, well, that's probably better than San Jose, though.
You are correct.
And now he's out and living up there, I guess. That's where you spent the holidays?
Yeah. Thanksgiving. Yeah,
there you go. Fun. When are you performing down here so we can see you?
I'm not until May.
May?
Flappers Comedy Club.
I was going to guess Flappers.
And Flappers in Burbank in May.
You guys, let's all go.
I was at the Comedy Magic Club 2-3 weeks ago. My girlfriend saw me, got to come see me. That was kind of scary, but she liked it.
Why was it scary? Oh, because she was in the crowd?
Yeah, it was really scary, but
it's kind of nice that you feel that pressure.
It's weird. My daughter came to see me at the Irvine Improv in May or June, I don't know, whenever I was there. 2-3 months after my wife died, my daughter came to the show, and I had, jokes about her mom. And, I was hoping she'd like them, but, I'd rather jokes by her. If I could make my daughter laugh at the dead mother jokes, I know that the jokes were pretty good, but when my wife was
sometimes
awful.
The bar is too high, though. I mean, that might be one.
When she was in ICU, and we didn't know if she was going to make it, and I had a feeling she wasn't going to make it, but we didn't know. It was really bad. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. We're sitting in the waiting room, and they have the television on, TBS, and the movie Pet Sematary is on. Boy. And I said to my daughter, if Mommy doesn't make it, you think if I bury her in a pet cemetery, she might come back normal? Because she's so crazy.
Killed.
Made my daughter laugh. So,
did she laugh?
Yeah, and I said, well, that's a keeper then. Because they were very, very close, very tight. So
sure.
That was the tough one. So, if she's laughing at, it's tough. My daughter comes to the house, and, my wife's urn is sitting there. And
I was just about to, I swear, I was thinking, boy, is this an appropriate time to ask where he's put the urn or not? I was waiting for the moment. This is terrific. Thank you. Because you had Teddy's ashes in an urn.
I had it, when you came to the house for the memorial, it was sitting there, and it's still there.
That's in that same spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't going to, it was a fine spot for him.
Well, tell everybody where it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's just in my dining room.
But that's kind of a majestic spot for it. It's a high-profile spot.
Well, she gets a high-profile spot.
I know, and that's cool.
It doesn't take up that much room. Yeah. It's not like she's stealing half the covers or anything. Or it's a good spot. It's nice and warm over there. She likes it warm.
So your daughter comes over, and you've got the urn there.
Yeah, but see, so my daughter, every time my daughter comes over, she feels her mother's presence. And every time she sees a butterfly or a dragonfly or a rainbow. And I mean, it is weird that there's all these rainbows around the house. And, whether there's a piece of glass or Mommy love rainbows. Mommy love dragonflies. And that's Mommy. And he goes, if you just open up your heart, you can talk to Mommy. And I said, I didn't talk to your mother when she was alive. Why would I talk to her when she's a dragonfly? And that made my daughter laugh. I go, another keeper, But I didn't even mean it to be funny. But, so you got to come up with this stuff. I can't keep doing the wife jokes anymore because it just doesn't ring true.
Yeah.
It's just not there anymore.
I was wondering if you were doing them.
I'm still doing them. I mean, I still talk about how brutal marriage is. And, and I don't talk about my wife till the end. I talk about her, women do this. My wife used to do this. Then at the end of the show, I talk about her being dead. I don't want to start off like that because then it's all downhill from there. Then I become that Amir guy.
Amir K.
Amir K. Poor guy.
Tough one.
It was a tough one.
I want to go back for a moment to the Woody Allen dinner because that to me is still in my head. I'm playing it out.
Here's the funny thing about that dinner was the dinner before that. My friend Jeff is a collector of art. He doesn't know anything about art, but he has a beautiful collection and he rotates.
How did he make this fortune, this guy, Jeff? How did he make his fortune?
Just, whatever. It's just business guy and just, legitimate business stuff. And
no one said it wasn't
we
legitimate.
thought it was until you said it like that.
No one
we were
suggested
fine
that
with
his friend Jeff is like mobbed up or anything.
No. He's just like a Jew who knows what he's doing. I'm a Jew that doesn't know what he's doing. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm playing, Flappers. That's my next big gig in May.
Hey, you're having dinner with Woody Allen.
Yeah.
None of us else.
So we were having this one dinner. My friend Jeff, has all this rotating art, and it'll go from, like some Dutch masters and some modern art and all kinds of wacky stuff. And every time I go to his house, it's a different piece of artwork. And over the dining room table was this giant kind of, it looks like Basquiat, but it wasn't. But this big skeleton guy at a table with you have to see it with a bone. I'll show you a picture on my phone. And I said, that's really, I love that. I go, I don't think you would like something like that. He goes, yeah, I keep it up for a few months. I go, what do you do with your art when you get rid of it? He goes, I put a lot of it in the basement. I go, can I have that? And he goes, of course, I'll send it to you. I go, well, never mind. My wife would never, ever let that announce. It's not a Teddy piece of art. Well, you've been to my house. I think you probably saw the painting, if you remember. But it's not a thing my wife would like. And when we went to dinner with Woody, my wife said that. Goes, I love that painting. I said, Jeff, you were going to send that to me. And a month later, I got it.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I got to show you a picture of it when the show's done. But
that's
so
terrific.
that'll never go anywhere. But he sent it to me, and I just can't believe my wife liked it. It was so not what I mean, somebody for 30 years, and I know what she liked and did like, but I didn't think she liked that. And it's great.
Those dinners just sound to me as though they're awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's not the Algonquin Round Table. You can imagine Dorothy Parker and Harpo Marx. And,
I mean, but it's kind of a version of it. You got, people who are very funny, smart.
You got Cavett dropping Groucho's name every 5 minutes.
Yeah, he did. I've mentioned. But you know what must have been more amazing was the Hillcrest Country Club when all those guys sit around playing pinochle. You had George Burns, Jack Benny, Al Jolson, the Marx Brothers. That must have been, Eddie Cantor. Those, wow. I mean, not to take away from Nick DiPaolo and me and Jay Thomas, but still, that, must have been the bomb, Do
you think, though, if you were alive back then, maybe you would be on that level? Back then it was...
well, not on that level now. Why would he be on that level back then?
I don't know. I just feel as though, in a way, that you would have stood out. You would have. I don't know. You're right. Maybe I've romanticized
that
it.
was super ass-kissy, man.
No, I'm serious. The way I look at the history, let me just tell you how I view it. I think it's a lot harder now to stand out. Back then, there were fewer outlets, so maybe it was more competitive. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered. But I just feel as though then if you had some pop, you could bust through.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that there was so fewer comics, but so fewer avenues besides radio, television, and film and stage, But now it's
a lot of these guys came out of vaudeville, though. They came out of vaudeville. They came off a stage. Half the guys you mentioned came out of the stage.
I think they all did, actually. Yeah. Tough life.
So your daughter had a rough year, huh?
My daughter?
Yeah. Didn't she lose her girlfriend and then?
That was last year.
Oh, okay.
Well, not a girlfriend like she's a lesbian kind of girlfriend, but
no,
we should be okay. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
She has beautiful girls around her. I was at Bobby's house, and there was his daughter with these, it looks like they're shooting a music video just because everybody's hot.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Young, hot women. Yeah, I have a lot of them around my house, but they're my daughter's friends.
So what's going on for Christmas? Are you and the new girl going to plan a vacation or something, or what are you doing?
We were going to go out to, we don't want to have anything to do with anybody, and we were just going to go away to maybe Ojai or, to the wine country and just get away. And I said, you know what? I've been traveling so much. I have 6 weeks off. I've never had 6 weeks off in my life. I said, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to sit by the fire and we can watch a Christmas movie or something.
Sure. Have Woody Allen and Soon Yi come over and you guys can check out
some wine.
A Christmas Story.
Yeah, I love all those Christmassy movies, and we just sit by the fireplace and hang out. And that's the thing. We do this every night. We just cook, and she comes to my house, or I go to her house.
And Bobby's a good cook, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a pretty.
See,
good cook.
normally Bobby's talking about this time. He's talking about going to get a martini at the smokehouse, but now he's hustling out of here to get to the ladies' house.
I was gonna have I wanted to go to the smokehouse, and then Mark said I can't go. I'll send you with Heather. What did I say? Don't take this person. What do I want to go with Heather for? I'm not nailing her. What am I going to go with a girl and have a drink? She's not my girlfriend.
I don't blame you at all.
I wanted to
she doesn't want to go with
send
me.
a representative of the show.
I would totally go with you.
Oh, I'd go with you too. Okay. You're the kind of broad I'd hang out with. There's not a lot of women I'd hang out with. And, it's like, it was so funny when my wife would go out with a couple of her friends. She said, well, you can go with us. Like, I don't want to go with you. Why would I go with you and your friends? Why would I go with you and your and that's what I hate. When you go to a comedy club, and I've seen this, not a lot. I'm sure, Josh, you've seen this. There'll be a bachelorette party. There'll be a guy there. That guy, by the way, what a faggot. And don't tell me the word faggot, and I'm not talking about gay people. That guy's a faggot.
Yeah, guy at a bachelorette party is a faggot. I
That's
hate
what
to
a
cross
faggot
the line
is.
myself.
That's a guy who plays golf with his wife. You're a faggot. Don't tell me I can't use that word.
Why is that a distinction in that context, Josh?
I was just playing along with Bobby.
Oh, Bobby.
What?
Why is exactly what Mark just said?
Why is that not the N-word? Why is it not like the N-word in the context that you used it?
Because faggot to me is not a gay person. It's the word faggot is the guy that plays golf with his wife. You pussy with faggot.
I see.
Okay?
But you don't actually get to decide what those words mean.
And by the way, the word retard, that guy's also a retard. He's a fucking retarded faggot. Okay, that has nothing to do with autistic children, because even they wouldn't play golf with a girl.
I think you should be able to use fucktard still, but I don't know if retard.
See, there's Bobby. It took a little while, but Bobby just showed it.
And the N-word.
What have you decided that means?
Was it with the A? Is it nigga or nigger?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know. I can't
Either one is not allowed to come out of your mouth.
Now, I had mentioned it's so funny that we're talking about Christmas, because I had just mentioned to Josh on our last episode that I thought it was you.
Are you going to cut that whole last bit out?
Why? Do you want me to cut it out?
No.
Okay.
Faggot.
Well, then I'm cutting it.
If you do that, you're retarded.
All right. I was telling Josh that I think it was you who said you hate playing New Year's Eve. We're talking about gigs on New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
it's a bad
but you
gig.
do it every year, I think.
I haven't done it.
Best money.
So, do you play every year?
I don't anymore, but I used to years ago.
It's good money?
It's the best money.
Oh, the best money.
Josh had a great insight, I thought. He said, you lose the crowd for, what did you say?
Well, you lose the crowd on on 10 minutes each side of the midnight. You get the clock watching leading up to midnight, and then you got 10 minutes.
Oh, wait. Most clubs now, at least the ones I play, and I haven't done this for a while, end the show at midnight and then have dancing and drinks. Some clubs, not all
I've been on stage at midnight.
So have I. I used to go on at the Punchline in San Francisco. I did it for about 10 or 15 years in a row. They paid me great money, and I would go on about 11:45. I would do 15 minutes. They'd pop the champagne, noisemakers, and tell me, okay, keep it down. Then I continued to do another 45 minutes. Of course, the opening acts were before me. They still got a full hour and a half show. And for the most part, if I wasn't too drunk and they weren't too drunk, the shows went, I turned it up full speed and I, banged them over the head with the jokes and couldn't wait for it to be over.
Right.
But in the last 7-8 years, what most clubs did, or the ones I played, they end the show at midnight. It's like a 7 o'clock show, and then a 10:30 shows at midnight. I stay on stage, I bring it on. But what I used to do is that the Punchline paid me so well, and I felt so bad for all the people out there. Well, what they did was at midnight, they would take away everybody's seats up front, so I had to have dancing. And all these people who paid great money to come in, and, they had no place to put their jackets. They'd be holding onto their coats.
Oh, yeah.
The people pay $50, $75, whatever to get in. Now, they're standing there. They want to hang out. Now they're holding their jackets. They have no seats so people can dance.
You bought them champagne or something, right?
I used to buy them. I used to buy a couple of cases of Chandon and give it to everybody who was displaced.
How great is that?
I give a bottle to every table and said, you can put all your coats in my dressing room.
Nice.
And then, that was, I just thought it was a nice thing to do. But then the Punchline finally figured out, why pay Bobby Slayton all this money? We're going to sell out no matter who plays there. Might as well put Josh and the Arab guy.
It's Amir K.
Amir K.
I'll middle for Amir K for that for New Year's money.
No, but so I haven't. So the last year or two I haven't worked, and I'm not working this New Year's, and it's just nice. And again, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay. As a matter of fact, I might have a little New Year's party. What are you doing?
That would be fun.
What are you doing?
I don't know if I have a plan yet. I don't think. What night of the week is that?
It's going to be a meat-themed.
I think it's Saturday night.
Instead of olives.
Meat-themed?
Yeah. Instead of olives in the martinis, little chunks of meat. You're not going to be able to get away from the meat. It's going to be all kind of meat-infused tofu.
Meat straws.
Slayton can't help but constantly give me a hard time about the fact
God did
that
have a great turkey. And, my God, was it great. I hate Thanksgiving with a passion, but it's cooked so beautifully.
That sweet creature had a great life before you.
I cooked a very vegan Thanksgiving.
No.
I did 3 vegan dishes.
So there, Bobby.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, if turkeys were smart enough to eat us, they would eat us.
They're smart. They're plenty smart.
If they could eat us, they would eat us.
I love this. I'll be at your house on New Year's Eve.
I
I'm
might do
looking forward to
something.
it.
You got to think about
I'm coming, so you better have something going on.
You got to think
Get some
about it.
crudité going for Mark.
Yeah. Well, Slayton, I love visiting with you. First of all, you're absolutely fucking hilarious. I used to listen to your now albums that are super old. I told you that.
I'm super old.
Well, like early albums are on my iPod.
I've done one a long time. Have you ever done one, Josh, a CD?
No, I never did.
They don't really make any money now, I mean, it's.
But you sell them as merch. I mean, everyone has merch.
I
now.
just hate
Is
selling
that
shit.
the deal?
Because
I was like, why is he doing a CD the other night? When was the last time?
Well, there's two. The people also are getting a lot of play on Pandora.
Yeah, and you get a check from Sound Exchange every year. I get, and they don't play me on all the clean stations, but I get a nice little check. So I can imagine some of the other people who they play a lot on Pandora, iHeartRadio. There's all kind. Amazon. There's a million outlets now where they play you on the Sirius XM. They play me like crazy on these stations. And
what are your classic bits that people say? Hey, do the whatever.
The faggot and retard bit.
Oh my God!
It's called fag dog.
And then I come back for the encore with the cut nigger and
I remember from the '80s. I remember the bit in the '80s you used to do. I remember the Chinese food bit. What was the Chinese food thing?
The Chinese food. That's my big.
That's
classic.
that's a classic.
I still do that in Florida once in a while.
It's a great.
The chick bit. Yeah.
That they just, when you go to a Chinese restaurant, they just agree with everything.
Don't try to do my routine.
I'm doing the whole thing. So you ask.
Great interpretation.
I always talk about this, but I've never talked about it on the air. That my relationship with Bobby Slayton started when I was a young woman. And I went to see him in a comedy show in Denver, and he did a joke that had me crying and running out of the.
Did you tell me this story?
I told you off the air.
No, what was
Comedy
it?
Work?
Yeah, Comedy Works in Denver.
Was it directed at you?
No.
Well, do you remember the joke?
Yeah, because my best friend had just been hit by a train and died.
Oh, and I did a bit about how stupid you have to be hit by a train.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
No,
remember
because
that?
Well, yeah.
Every time somebody gets hit by a train, I go, well, good. How stupid are you? How did you ever get hit by a train? Seriously. Unless somebody pushes you in front of the train.
Stupid.
How does this happen?
Are you asking me or are you doing your bit?
No, I'm asking you.
So it was in Chicago, and they were on the L.
Right.
And we were young. We were freshmen in college.
Right.
Or sophomores in college, whatever. And they were visiting Chicago, and they didn't realize that they were on the wrong platform. So they all jumped down to go across.
That's really stupid.
I started chuckling because I knew how it came out.
That's really, really stupid. Wait, and they didn't see the train coming?
No, they did, and they thought they were going to beat it, and then the two of them made it, and then this last girl knew that they weren't going to make it and went to grab her to pull her back and just popped.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, so you saw that?
She saw it. Jennifer saw it.
Ugh.
But what's crazy is Jen
thought
said
Bobby Slayton could take her mind off that.
So Jennifer,
Wow.
but anyway, she
They
said
are
that it looked
fans.
like she just fell off her bike. Like there wasn't anything. There wasn't even any blood or anything. It just. And the driver of that train was mad. He was so pissed.
He should be
sad
pissed.
pissed. But anyway, to take our minds off it, go down to the Comedy Works, and that came out, and I was
Wow.
like,
all right, well,
so
I'm sorry about your friend.
it's okay. And then I waited on him at the Sushi Say next to Comedy Magic Club.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of new guys you can do. I'm not bitter. That's fine.
Well, we couldn't get Amir K in here. So,
I don't know the guy. I'm sure he's a great comic. I'm sure he doesn't know who I am either.
I mean, great comic sounds like it might be overstating it regardless.
Probably one of the best Muslim comics out there.
Yeah.
Because they're very funny people, those Muslims.
He's got great hair.
All right, so Slayton,
I want to go before my meter expires.
Yeah,
go.
My time. Thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate taking this ride through everything in your life the last year, and I want to say we look forward to your work in the new Woody Allen film.
I'm not allowed to talk about the movie, but I do sing in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
terrific.
Not allowed to talk about it at all. It's a little thing I'm not allowed to even talk about the scene. But
Oh, my God. That's great.
a little thing if it stays in the movie. But
He sent you the whole script? Because sometimes he only sends the,
I only saw my scenes.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to. I probably told you more than probably going to cut me out just for telling you that much.
We had somebody else from Woody Allen movie here, and they said that literally they only his pages.
And they're watermarked with your name on it. So if they get out, they know it's you. He's fired people, I hear, from talking about the movie. You know, but I've done it already, so, and I know he loves me, so that's great.
Thank you for taking us into your little Slayton world.
Oh, yeah, crazy one. It's been a crazy year, as George Watt says. It's crazy.
Bobby Slayton, everybody. Yay! All right, keep your seats.
I love you, Bobby.
Get more of The Edge on Stitcher and iTunes, or go to our website, edge-show.com.